Hi, welcome back to channel TrainStation2. Alright, happy to share with you. I got first in this first competitions. I got upgraded to Transport Giant 1. That is after getting enough of this headquarter points. Alright, so this is the start of the event. We've been waiting for, we're excited with this really beautiful map that we can see here. Lots of gears and of course lots of competitors coming on board soon. I'm really lucky. We start roughly about 11 hours still late. So that start off of a second was really a good starting point. Always I will do this, upgrade the factory by 2 more slots, roughly about 30 gems and another 80 gems, so 110 in total. With that, then we can proceed to collect those raw materials to keep on producing round the clock in terms of that event factory. So we're going to collect from the gear factory all the gears. It took me around 3 minutes and then I'm going to collect the other raw material as well. Alright, okay, so these are the jobs that I've already done so far. I'm going to collect later just to generate more number of those keys, so you can actually try our luck in terms of the 100 key container. Hopefully you get something good out of it. As usual, you expect common trains. Hopefully we get something better than common trains. So if you are getting the parts, it's been quite good luck in sometimes getting rare parts and whatnot. Let's see what we get today. Alright, as expected, nearly get there. Alright, so that's common trains again. Of course, do make sure you collect all those precious parts and do a constant upgrade of your trains. Really important. Capacity is one, fleet size is the other. So I'll be getting a lot of the duplicates. I'm not going to basically dismantle them or sell them, or why. Depends later on. If I run out of parts, then maybe I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll just keep it as a start. So you need, assuming you have 12 dispatchers or so, you need 12 of the same kind. So generally, if they ask for a common diesel or probably electric, at least you got 12 numbers of those to run the show. So the small quantity in terms of the starting capacity of 4 is really very frustrating, but nonetheless it's important that you constantly upgrade by selecting the diesel type. For example, upgrade one of those, and then you got an electric, that's another example, just upgrade that, so at least you don't spend all of it in diesel. So just in case you've been tied down by a very tough restrictions of electric train, and yet you have been always working on the diesel ones. So this is something you got to think about. Try to do a few types or different types of engines upgrades, but of course I always ask you to focus on the rare, because that is always the hot item or the hot difficult situation that will pose to you. The challenging events in terms of restrictions is always very painful with rare trains. That's always the case. Common trains is another one as usual. As for epic and there's a legendary, because that's what I've always been targeting from every single event. I'll always try to collect minimally 2 legendaries, one from the 1000 coins legendary, another 4000 keys legendary. So legendary comes with a 40 capacity as a starter. So if you wanted to collect more gold, I'll advise you to upgrade one of those to 80. Otherwise, you do not need to spend on them. Basically, you should be spending your precious parts and gold in those common as rare. Likewise for epic, have a good capacity as a start of 20. I think even the regional has a 12 starter. So just make sure you keep on upgrading your commons and rare, and of course one of the legendary to 80. Besides getting a very good number of gold every 4 hourly with the 80/80 capacity legendary, that gives contributions towards the headquarter points, which I'm going to show you later. And there's a promotion, or so-called upgrades of my headquarter to Transport Giant 1. So that's the next tier of title I'm chasing after, of course, all because of that precious returns that we're getting. I think I get about 95 gems later. I'm going to show you that. The next one is, I think, about parts. So in terms of the event, starting late is just one step to it. Besides starting late, you make sure you'll be constantly on the game, of course, to keep on producing event items and delivery every hour. You also need to make preparations in every single event. At the start, you could prepare the non-event items, but on the second competition onwards, you could really stock up all the event items. So make sure you fill your warehouse to the brim with event items, and then of course you got to make sure you have lots of those coins and parts that keep on upgrading. All right, so I'm really happy here. We got first, and we got in the fifth in terms of the region. Oh no, pardon me, it's not region, the union itself, but union ranking is second, so we get a good number of those union points. After distribution, we'll get my 57,500. There are two more available before 2 days. I doubt we will do that. Well, let's see how things work out. But with 70,000, probably with about 1 or 2 upgrades. But nonetheless, like I said, the most important thing today I'm going to share you is this Transport Giant 1, and of course I claim my 95 gems, so it's very precious there. This is something that contributes to it, would be your train upgrades to the fullest, as well as when you get first, you got points as well. First, second, and third, of course. Maximum train upgrades contributes to that as well. So you can see, always been spending to make sure you have a good fleet capacity, fleet size, both are important. Warehouse, always talk about that. Warehouse, you need population, and the only way to get population is fulfilling those building requests. It needs lots of blue maps. Make sure you fulfill that greedy captain's request so you can gain blue maps from the ship trade. Limit to 5 buildings being laid out in the map, so you use the 5 building technique. You can see every time there are 4 requests, fulfill them constantly, get their population upped, and once you required the required population is being met, you can get your warehouse upgraded for another 100 spaces. Alright, time for a good rest, and of course work well for your second one. Good luck, goodbye.